Imagine a life where your connections are truly fulfilling, not just transactional. This isn't about collecting more followers. It's about building a genuine support system in an increasingly isolating world. There's a story I keep returning to whenever I think about connection. Not the version we post online, but the raw, unfiltered kind that actually holds us together as people. A friend once told me about a woman she worked with. Her name was Mara. She was the kind of person who lit up a room without trying. Not because she talked the loudest or had the flashiest personality, but because she paid attention. She remembered the small details. She noticed when someone wasn't okay. She showed up. But the irony was that no one ever truly showed up for her. On her birthday one year, she received hundreds of comments online. The kind of posts you scroll through quickly, tapping a like almost mechanically. Balloons, emojis, those glittery happy birthday gifts. Her phone buzzed non-stop. And yet, when she got home that evening, her apartment was empty. Not a single person stopped by. No one called. There wasn't even a knock on the door. She sat on her couch, surrounded by silence. Her living room was dimly lit except for the soft blue glow of her phone screen. At first, she tried to smile at the messages, convincing herself that this was connection, that those hearts and exclamation marks meant something. But the longer she stared, the more hollow it felt. She set her phone down and whispered to herself, "How can so many people know me, yet no one truly know me?" And that was the night she broke down. Not because she was weak, but because, for the first time, she saw the truth. She had mistaken visibility for intimacy. She had been surrounded by people, yet profoundly alone. It wasn't dramatic. No shattered glass. No screaming. Just quiet tears in a quiet room. A loneliness that didn't roar, it whispered. A few weeks later, she made a decision. Not a grand one. Not a social media announcement. Just a quiet promise to herself. A promise to stop trying to be everywhere, and instead, finally be somewhere. To stop stretching herself across 1,000 shallow connections and invest in the handful that actually mattered. It was the beginning of her reclaiming true connection in a crowded world. We live in a strange contradiction. We carry worlds in our pockets. Names, faces, updates, notifications. It feels like connection is always available, like water from a tap you can turn on at will. But somewhere along the way, we confused constant access with actual closeness. We scroll endlessly, not because we care, but because it fills the silence. We check in on people through photos instead of conversations. We observe their lives from a distance and call it intimacy. But it's not. Most of us exist in this weird middle space, surrounded by others, yet emotionally adrift. There's an illusion in all those online interactions. The quick likes, the laughing emojis, the "you look amazing" comments. They create a sense of togetherness that evaporates the moment you need something real. Because curated connection isn't connection. It's a performance. We show the best angles, the polished moments, the highlight reels. We share the victories but hide the bruises. And the more we filter our lives, the more disconnected we feel from ourselves. The emotional toll sneaks up on us. You start to wonder, would people still like me if they saw me on a bad day? If they heard the thoughts I don't post? If they witnessed the parts of me that don't glitter? That quiet insecurity becomes a wall. The more connected you appear online, the harder it becomes to admit that you're lonely. Just like Mara. Because the world praises presence, not depth. Engagement, not honest expression. Visibility, not vulnerability. So we stay online. We stay scrolling. We stay entertained, distracted but rarely fulfilled. One of the biggest traps our generation faces is the belief that attention equals affection. It doesn't. 100 likes will never compare to one person who truly sees you. 1,000 followers will never replace a friend who sits with you in silence when life is falling apart. Social media teaches us to perform, not connect. Suddenly life becomes a stage. You aren't talking to individuals, you're talking to an audience. You craft captions that sound good. You pick photos that get reactions. You share stories that spark engagement. And without realizing it, you start living for approval. You feel the pressure to be interesting, to be impressive, to be relevant. But in that pressure, you lose something vital. You lose your ability to be vulnerable. Fear of judgment is the thief of intimacy. It convinces you that your real emotions are too much, that your struggles are inconvenient, that your messiness isn't lovable. So you quietly shelve your feelings. You become the cheerful friend, the put-together colleague, the one who never has problems. And people believe it. They believe the version of you that you've curated. But that version isn't the whole truth. It's a mask. And the more you wear it, the heavier it becomes. That's when relationships start to feel shallow. Not because others don't care, but because you're not giving them anything real to hold on to. You become like a beautifully wrapped gift box that's empty inside. It looks great on the outside, but it doesn't offer warmth, or weight, or presence. True connection requires being known. But you can't be known if you don't show yourself. So what does real connection even look like? It's simpler than we make it. A genuine connection is someone who listens without preparing their reply. Someone who remembers your fears, not just your successes. Someone who shows up, even when you don't have anything impressive to offer. It's the friend who notices the shift in your tone. The sibling who hears the worry behind your laugh. The partner who understands your silence. Real connection is presence. Not perfect sentences. Not flawless timing. Just presence. It's the power of sitting across from someone with your phone face down, your attention fully here. It's the comfort of knowing that you don't need to impress them. You're allowed to be unfiltered, messy, honest. Active listening is the underrated superpower of relationships. Most people listen to respond. Few listen to understand. Even fewer listen to feel what the other person is feeling. But when you meet someone who listens not just with their ears but with their awareness, something shifts. The conversation becomes a safe space instead of a performance. Trust grows in those moments. Empathy deepens. Respect becomes the foundation rather than a courtesy. True connection is built on 3 pillars. Trust. The belief that you can reveal who you are without being punished for it. Empathy. The willingness to step into someone else's world and care about it as if it were your own. Mutual respect. Not just in words, but in how you treat each other's time, emotions, and boundaries. This is what Mara started to discover. That connection wasn't about having more people in her life. It was about having the right people. Reclaiming connection isn't about deleting your apps or disappearing from the world. It's about being intentional. It's about shifting from passive interaction to meaningful engagement. Here are the steps that quietly changed Mara's life and can change ours too. 1. Intentional disengagement. Start by creating small boundaries with technology. Turn off a few notifications. Put your phone in another room when you're talking to someone. Take 1 day a week to be fully offline. These aren't punishments. They're invitations. Every time you step away from screens, you step closer to your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own inner clarity. And that clarity helps you show up more fully for others. 2. Real-world meetups. We underestimate the power of face-to-face connection. A shared meal. A walk around the block. A simple coffee. These moments build bonds in ways digital messages never can. Mara started inviting people out. Not big events. Not curated gatherings. Just small, real, human moments. And those moments became the heartbeat of her new relationships. 3. Ask better questions. Most conversations die because we ask questions that have no room to breathe. How are you? Fine. And that's it. But connection thrives on open-ended questions. What's been on your mind lately? What's been on your mind lately? What's something you've been struggling with but haven't said out loud? What's one thing that made you feel alive this week? When you ask deeper questions, you invite deeper answers. And when you listen, genuinely listen, people feel safe enough to open the parts of themselves they usually hide. This is where connection blossoms. 4. Show vulnerability first. Most people mirror the energy you give. If you stay on the surface, they'll stay there too. But when you take a small risk, when you admit a worry, a hope, a fear, you create room for honesty. You become permission. You become a signal that real conversation is welcome. This doesn't mean oversharing. It means being human. Connection grows in the space between two people who are brave enough to be real. The world is noisy, fast, unpredictable, but meaningful connection gives us resilience. It keeps us grounded when everything else feels unstable. It reminds us that we don't have to navigate life alone. Connection is a form of courage. It's the courage to show up imperfectly, the courage to let others into our world, the courage to admit that we need more than digital praise and fleeting attention. There's a deep reward in choosing quality over quantity, in nurturing relationships that water the soul rather than drain it. But it requires vulnerability, and vulnerability is uncomfortable. You might get misunderstood. You might get hurt. You might give more than you receive sometimes. But on the other side of that discomfort is something profound, the kind of relationships that make life bearable, meaningful, even beautiful. This was the lesson Mara learned. Months after her lonely birthday, she celebrated again, quietly, differently. This time she had only a few people with her. No fireworks, no grand event. Just 3 friends sitting in her living room, laughing about life, sharing stories they never posted, talking about things they couldn't say online. At the end of the night, she didn't have hundreds of messages. She had presence, warmth, connection, real connection. And for the first time in a long time, she felt full. Not because she was surrounded by a crowd, but because she was surrounded by care. If there's one thing to take from Mara's story, and from so many stories like hers, it is this: connection isn't found in a crowded world. It's created in small conversations, in honest moments, in slow, deliberate attention. You don't need a bigger circle. You need a deeper one. So here's the invitation. Pause. Reach out to someone you care about. Ask a real question. Sit with their answer. And let them sit with yours. Choose humans over highlights. Presence over performance. Depth over visibility. Reclaim connection, one intentional moment at a time. Because in a world full of noise, the rarest thing we can offer each other is our full, unfiltered, undivided selves. And that is where true connection begins.